Hello, welcome. Excited to be with you today. I want to share a little bit about what's been going on for me personally during this eclipse portal around healing and what I'm noticing that can support you in your healing journey. And if you're new to me, my name is Donnell Davis, and I'm a channel and healer over 20 plus years, and I specialize in helping my clients heal forward to become their future selves so they can have the love, money, success that they desire now, not sometime out in the future. And I really love working with my methodology, which is future self embodiment. So I will bring that into a little bit about what I'm talking about today. And I'll also share some ways that if you are interested in what I'm talking about, then we can connect. So, portals and eclipses, when it comes to portals or doorways, right? The eclipse season happens to open up a portal for you to evolve, I believe, much faster than any other time of the year. And it always depends on the flavor of the energy. And so it started with that Pisces full moon, and then we have a Virgo new moon coming up this Sunday, I believe the 21st. And when we had the full moon in Pisces, Pisces is that death, rebirth, it's the endings, it's the very visceral patterns that come up to be seen, the subconscious patterns that you're operating from. And I talk a lot about subconscious patterns because they rule us until we can change them. And they rule us in the sense that they're oftentimes very hidden. They're not always super obvious. There are ones that you can see because you've repeated it over and over again, and maybe it's in your relationship space, your work. But one thing I've noticed about patterns is when you find a really big one, your whole life will change because it's not only operating, let's just say, in your workspace, it's operating in your relationships and your health. And I'll give you an example of that through what I'm about to share. But patterns are very insidious sometimes, and they're in our blind spot until we really get an opportunity to see it. And I do think that the Pisces energy, the full moon, it wants to eliminate illusion because it's ruled by Neptune. And Neptune is a planet that the lower side of it, the shadow frequency, can be illusion, delusion. And the higher end of it, it's very spiritual. So you start to see your whole life as a spiritual journey, which is really the way I see it. I see my life as whether something it's good or bad, it's happening to help me rise. And that way, I don't react as much because it's really easy to go into reaction when we think things aren't working out the way we want. And as somebody who teaches futuring, I know without a shadow of a doubt that once you say you really want something, that the universe starts to rearrange itself and conform to bring you that. But oftentimes you may lose your frequency that you're holding for that very thing because it looks like the outer world is not giving you what you want. So I've been working on a multitude of different things in my personal life, but I just had a recent visit from my biological dad, and he's someone that I love dearly, but when I grew up, he left when I was 3 years old, and I didn't really grow up with him. And so we reconnected and reconvened maybe in somewhere in my 20s. I saw him here and there, but it was really, I didn't live with him or anything like that. And if you don't know this, our parents play a major role in shaping who we are, not necessarily just the obvious things of our genetics and our looks and all that kind of stuff, but deeply, deeply the things that we're trying to heal, our wounds, right? So I saw my dad, and there was an incident where he was just asking me some questions about how I'm doing and how my life has been, and I was filling him in and letting him know. And I was telling him about a specific hardship that I was having. And I felt like he wasn't quite grasping it. And it's not his responsibility to grasp it per se. And then there was just a series of things that happened that really made me feel not seen by him, not fully able to connect, not feeling his presence. And granted, he has Parkinson's right now. He suffers from Parkinson's. And I do know that that changes the dynamics of how one interacts and all that kind of stuff. So I have to be really mindful of that. But all that to say, I only see my dad maybe once or twice a year if I'm lucky. And he's getting older, I'm getting older, and it just reminded me of the fragility of time. And something came up for me, and it was basically feeling that I was never protected by him, that I was never taken care of by him like a typical dad would. And of course, I could go into a story of why and all that, but it was what I want to present to you is how things are arising for us right now during this window of time with people and situations to help us elevate in our healing. And healing is not linear because if I told you how many times I have worked on my daddy issues, I mean, all through my life. I mean, especially because in my relationship spaces, I used to date somebody that presented like my dad. Very similar, like, alcoholic, he cheated on my mom. And so I would bring in, people similarly to that, not always cheaters, not always alcoholics, but pretty much, there was a little something around that. So, anyways, I started to feel really frustrated over something really small that he said. And I was talking to Ricky, my partner, and I was like, he's not acting like, he's not acting this way. And I want him to be. And I heard something in me, and I could feel the tenderness of my inner child underneath my words. I and my partner is a mirror to me. He's like, "Whoa, you seem kind of like frustrated or angry. Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening?" And I couldn't talk about it in that moment, but when he left, I had some time to reflect, and I realized that I still have some resentment for feeling like my dad wasn't able to be a dad for me, even though I have a wonderful stepdad, even though I have a really good relationship with him now, there is still this part of me, and it showed me that the patterns that are underneath it. Not only do I see my inner child that's like, I want I want something from you. I want some presence. I want to feel protected. I want to feel safe. I want to feel loved. I couldn't quite see these things before, especially his emotional unavailability, because I myself was always bringing in emotionally unavailable partners. Now I have somebody that I always joke and say he's a reflection of my healing because he's emotionally available. We can talk about very deep things and he reflects things back to me. And I realized that we have these patterns that we're trying to heal within ourselves. And this one is something that has been there my whole life. And it's the reason I was able to see this layer of the onion is because I am with somebody that protects me and that loves me and like is emotionally available and all these things. But I had to take it a step further. I'm like, if I have all that in my life, and yes, it's okay for me to notice this. It's okay for me to be disappointed. It's okay if you're noticing some of these things when it comes to somebody in your life, whether it's a parent or whoever you care about. But what it really called forth in me is this deep wounding that I couldn't see before, that is only solvable through my own love for myself. I cannot go back in time and change what was. I will not waste my time doing that. I'm a futurist, but I will allow my inner child to be sad. I will let myself feel my feelings so that I can evolve into the next version of who I'm going to be. And it's not so much, yes, I want the strong masculine in my life. I do have that. But so much of this is what you didn't receive from somebody. And you think that you have to find it in someone else. You're like, okay, I'm going to go look for it in this person or this situation. And ultimately it's up to us to give it to ourselves. It's up to us. We have to resource these things within ourselves. So those things that you're looking for, maybe that you didn't get from your mom or your dad or whoever, look deeper than just the surface. This is, and if you're understanding what I'm saying, it's because you're in it in some way, shape, or form. And you know that if you keep looking to the external world to give you the excitement or give you the pleasure or give you the sense of safety or security, excuse me, I have to sneeze, that you will always come back to some form of emptiness within yourself because so much of what we feel is really truly once we realize that the external world is really not, it doesn't, the money, the beauty, the things, yes, they're all lovely. It's all a costume, it's all play, but it's not going to solve the issue of are you going to love yourself and give yourself the things that you need. So this time frame that we're in, this eclipse portal, the Pisces energy is like it's dissolving illusion. It's dissolving probably where in me I'm like I'm looking to be, I want my dad to make me feel this way, and it's like no, 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 that's an illusion. That's never going to be. I have to accept him for who he is. I have to forgive the past, and I have to love him for what is right now. And so do you, whoever that person is for you, because grudges and holding resentments, they block your blessings. It's not gonna be the fuel that is gonna allow you to move to the next level of your life. I promise. It actually takes you out of your flow. Everywhere you have resentment, everywhere that you're still hung up on something, it means you haven't sat with yourself long enough to do the work and dissolve it, dissolve the charge energetically, to work through it, to maybe let yourself grieve. Ultimately, within ourselves, we have to give and parent that inner child within us. And for me, it's like, okay, if I want protection, if I want to feel safety and security and all these kinds of things, yes, I receive that from my partner, but I need to give it to myself. I need to learn how to also find that within me. And so I just wanted to share that because I know during this time frame of the eclipses, there's just so much coming to the surface. There's so much ugly that's come to the surface in the collective. Oh my God. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I'll tell you my stance on that is that I didn't know this guy very well, the Charlie Kirk who passed away. So I can't really speak to what he was talking about. But I'll tell you, I do admire somebody who will speak their truth. And I will always come back to this. If you're spewing hate, if you're angry towards the world, if you're like, oh, you're not this political party, you're not that, you are stuck, my friend. You are trapped. They have you exactly where they want you. They do, because you're miserable, because you're focusing on the things that upset you and it's like you're just putting lighter fuel on a bonfire. So right now, that's what I'm trying to say is whether it's the collective in that situation, like we have to rise above. We have to figure out how to love within ourselves, how to not be so traumatized by differences, by somebody not giving us what we want. It's our job to have a relationship with the divine and to work on who we get to be in this life. And if you're focusing on all the things that upset you and anger you in this life, you're not living, your quality of life is not going to be good. You want to focus on what you want to create and see in this world. And I know it sucks. Like my heart hurts for people, my heart hurts for everything that's going on in this world. But I want to remind you that your frequency is a contribution to the collective consciousness. And so if you're focusing on productive, creative, innovative ways to show up and help humanity, amazing. But if you're making fun of somebody dying because they had a different political view, which I saw lots of that, I was really surprised about. I was like, wow, what is our world coming to that we're making fun of people that just got, assassinated? So I just want to say that. So because from a futuring perspective, from anticipating where we're going, I'm feeling a little kind of the fragility of the collective right now, and that people need to figure their shit out, including myself. Like, this is why I'm sharing vulnerably with you my truth around, my father, and why I'm still to this day working on things. But I'm slowed down enough in my life that I'm really witnessing who I am and how I'm showing up, because I'm working towards a future, and the future I'm working towards, where I'm, even more abundant than I am now, even more protected and safe and loved. That is going to be built from in here, not out there. If you're looking for that, if you're looking for somebody to protect you, make you feel safe in this crazy effing world right now, my invitation is to come back to yourself and come back to your heart. Because you need to find the peace within you, not be focused on all these external things that are happening that are really just humongous distractions. They're trying to pull you away from the truth that you are love, that we can come back to love, that we have to choose love, that we have to let go of the people who have hurt us, that we have to move the F on from whatever is holding you back in the past. Just like I'm saying, I have to move on from this situation with my dad. I have to give myself what I feel like I didn't receive. So enjoy this eclipse time. Let me know how this resonates. I will be back to share about the Virgo new moon coming up this weekend, but I just wanted to let you know that if you're feeling a lot of the feels and you're kind of going through a lot of stuff, you're not alone. And if you want to go deeper, I am having a little flash sale right now, just till Wednesday. And let me tell you the date, the 17th. So today's September 15th, September 17th, I'm offering a really nice discount on my intuitive healing sessions. They're usually $500. I'm knocking off $100 so that you can get the support that you need if you're going through a trying and difficult time and you want to have somebody, get their eyes on it, me, with deep clarity and neutrality, and help you see the patterns of the things that you're operating from that are keeping you blocked right now, so that you can rise to your next level. Because my friends, anytime we are blocked and we don't have things working out the way that we want, most of the time we've framed it incorrectly. We feel like the world's against us, but really what's trying to be resolved is a pattern that you're living in that no longer is serving you, that is not going to get you where you want to go. You're ready to retire it. When you start to feel chaos and feel confused and like, why aren't things working for me? It's because you're about to retire a pattern. You're about to start a new cycle of energy. So reach out to me and I can support you. Or you can just put flash in the comments and I'll message you the link to schedule it. Okay. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day and I'll talk to you guys soon.